Hi, good morning. This is Teacher Marvin, your English teacher. Today is Wednesday, and our subject this morning is science. All right. So today is Wednesday. It's August 24th, 2021. So this morning is you are going to learn in science. So the last meeting, you were able to know about the different parts of the plants and what are those functions of the different parts of the plants. So this morning is we were going to know about the different habitats of the plants, where they live and what do we call these plants who live in this particular habitat. Okay, so let's start with our lesson this morning. All right, shall we start? We just wait for a while. Okay, I'm sorry for this. There is some problem with my power. Okay, so again, so this morning is we will going to learn about the different habitats of the plants and what do we call those habitats of the plants. Okay, so wait for a while. Okay, now let's go back to our point. So we have here now. So this morning is we will going to learn in science. Okay, are you ready? Okay, so welcome to our class this morning and welcome to primary one, the English program. And our subject this morning is science, and we are going to talk about the different plants and different places. And what do we call these habitats of the different plants who live or grow in these particular places? Okay, so before that, let's yes, that's it. So we are talking about the plant's habitat of the animal. But before that, let's do have a reading before anything else. So as what I have said earlier, we are going to talk about the plant's habitat of the plants who live in the soil, the water, and of course in the trees. So these are the particular places where the plants are capable to live and grow. And these are the different habitats of the animals. So, but before that, let's do have a reading. Okay. So these are an example of the plants, as what I have said, that you already know what are those functions, the main functions as well of the different parts of the plant. And this morning, you will going to learn the habitats of the plants. So let's start with our reading first, okay? So Teacher Marvin will going to read the word first twice, and then you have to repeat right after me. All right? Now let's start with our first word. Okay, everybody please listen to me. Fang, habitat, habitat. Everybody say habitat. Okay. Very good. Next, our next word is okay. It starts with letter P. Plants. Plants. Everybody say plants. All right. Next, land. Land. Everybody say land. Okay, very good. Next, water. Water. Everybody say water. Okay, very good. Next, pond. Pond. Everybody say pond. Okay. Next, lake. Lake. Everybody say lake. Okay, good job. And then we have the last one. Okay, we have last two words. Sea. Sea. Everybody say sea. Okay. Okay, another one. Swamps. Swamps. Everybody say swamps. All right. So those are the habitats of the plants. Okay, so we have the plant. We have the plant. Plant can be also a habitat of the plant, the swamps, the ponds, the sea, the others, the field, or even in the garden. Okay, so those are one of the habitats of the plants. Okay, so let us check one by one. And what are those examples? Okay, let's start here. So, okay, first, when we say habitat, habitat is the place where a living things lives. And we have a different plants live and in different habitats. Again, a habitat is the place where a living thing lives. Okay, so different plants live in the different habitats. And what are those examples? Okay, let's start with the first habitat. Okay, so plants can live on land such as in the garden. Garden can be also a habitat of the plant. Again, plants can live on land such as in the garden. Okay, land is a soil. Okay, so we have a different habitats can be found in the land, and garden is one of the habitats of the animals. And what are those examples? We have a different examples of the plants who live in the garden. And what are those? So I will going to give you only two examples. And first we have what we call, okay, plants live in the garden. Again, plants capable to live in the garden, because garden is one of the habitat of the plants. And we have the first example. I know you really love flowers, and flowers are capable to live in the garden in your backyard. It is a land place. Okay, so flowers are one of the examples of the plants who can live in the garden. Okay, everybody say flowers. That's right. And another one, or even the vegetables, or even the different spices, you can see it in your garden. And one of the example is what we called the chili plants. So these two plants are one of the examples who can live in the garden, in the land area. Okay, so garden is one of the habitat of the plants. Okay, so if your mother or your father are are planting the different vegetables or even the different plants, maybe you can help to watering the plants, because plants need water, right? I already told you before during our topic in the different parts of the plants. Okay, so remember, plants need water, so you can help your mother or your father by watering the plants. Okay, so again, plants live in the garden, and one of its examples are the flowers and the chili plants. Okay, so next we have plants can live on land, such as in the field. Yes, garden just only a small, maybe at the back of your home, in your backyard. But when we say field, it is so very wide place. Again, plants can live on land, such as in the field. And what are those examples of the plants who can live in the field? So we have a lot of plants who can live in the field. And I'm going to show you only two examples and what these two examples. So we have here. So as I've said, plants live in the field. So we have first example here. Do you know what plant is this? All right, so this is what we called a corn plant. Yes, corn plants is able to live in the field. Okay, corn plants need a wide space, need a big space, need a big land. Okay, so another one is what we call, or even the fruits. Actually, we have here what we call the watermelon plant. It needs a wide space. It needs a big space. It needs a huge of land. So these are one of the examples of the plants who can live in the field. And aside from this, do you have any idea what are those plants who can live in the field? Yes, we have a lot of plants. We have a pineapple plants. Yes, it needs field. So these are one of the examples of the plants who can live in the field. All right. Okay, let us proceed to the next habitat of the plants. Plants that live on other plants. Yes, there are some plants who can live also in the plants. Again, plants that live on the other plants. Can you imagine what plants who can live on plant? Do you have any idea? We're talking about the living things, and plants is a living things. Okay, I'll show you one example of the plant who can live on other plant. And that is one. Okay, the orchid plant. Yes, orchid plant can live on the tree. So tree is a plant. So therefore, plants can live on other plants. So orchid plant is one of the example. Okay, our next example, do you have any idea? Look, Toya, another one. Okay, so we have also here what we call the staghorn fern. Not only the staghorn fern, but different kinds of fern are capable to live on the plants. And tree is one of the plants where can staghorn live and reproduce. Okay, so these are the examples of the plants who can live on the other plant. Okay, such as the orchid plant and the staghorn fern. Okay, all right. Next, we have here. Okay, aside of the land, plants can also live in the water. Plants live in or on the water, such as the pond. Pond is one of the habitat of the plants. Okay, so we have here example of the plants live in the pond. And first, we have here what we call the water lilies. Water lilies is one of the plants who can live in the pond. Okay, we are talking about the water. Yes, plants are capable to live in the water aside of the land. Okay, so another one is what we call, this is what we call a water lettuce. It's a water lettuce. So water lilies and the water lettuce are one of the examples of the plants who can live and capable to live in the pond. And pond is one of the habitat of the plant. All right. So again, plants can live in the pond, such as water lilies and the water lettuce are one of the example. Okay. Next, we have here the next one. Some plants live in or on the water, such as lake. Yes, aside of the pond, plants can live also in the lake. And what are those examples? So we have here, plants live in the lake, such as one of the most favorite flowers we have here, our favorite plant here in Thailand, and that is the lotus plant. I know that Thailand is one of the rich production of the lotus plant. Okay, so lotus plant is one of an example who can live in the lakes. And aside from that, we have another one. And this is what we call the water lily. Actually, this is what we call a fragrance water lily. Okay, so the lotus plant and the fragrance water lily are one of the examples who can live in the lake. Again, lotus plant and the fragrance water lily are one of the plants who can live in the lake, and lake can be a habitat of the plants. All right. Okay. So next we have also here, some plants live in or on the water, such as the sea. Yes, it's really amazing. You know, we have, you know what? We have a lot of plants, not only live on the land, but also in the water, on the pond. But we have also a lot of plants who can also live and capable to live in the sea. And what are those examples? Okay, so these are what we call the aquatic or sea plants. Okay, so plants live in the sea. This is one of the example as what we call a seaweed. Seaweed is can be eaten. Okay, can be eaten, and it is rich in vitamins. And then Another one is what we call the kelp. Kelp is also a plant who can live in the sea. Kelp can be eaten, can be eaten by the aquatic animals, by the marine animals. So plants live in the sea are what we call marine plants. Okay, these are the marine plants. These are only one of the examples who can live in the sea. Okay, so another one, the last one is some plants live in the swamps. Again, some plants live in the swamps. And we have an example here. One of the most common example of the plants who can live in the swamp is what we call the mangrove tree. So mangrove tree can be live in the swamps. Okay, so these are the plants who can live in the different habitats of the animals. Okay, so before we are going to end our lesson this morning, let's do have a last review. Okay, so again, please repeat right after me, habitat. Again, repeat after me, habitat. Okay, next we have plants. Okay, and how about this one? Can you read this? Okay, very good. It's land. Okay, how about this one? All right, it's water. Very good. And this one? Okay, it's pond. How about this one? All right, it's a lake. Okay, and how about this one? It's very easy. Okay, it's a sea. And the last one is, okay, that is swamps. Okay, so I hope you enjoy with our lesson this morning. Thank you so much for having here. Again, this is Teacher Marvin. I really miss you so much. I hope by the next time, I hope the pandemic will be okay so that you can visit here. But for now, just stay at home, okay? So this is Teacher Marvin, your English teacher. Thank you so much and forward it. Bye-bye.